What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show.
Hello everybody. I am Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, the host of the Tina Ramsey Show and Podcast, and I want to personally invite you to be a featured guest on our show. Our show is all about motivating you, sharing knowledge, having uplifting conversations centered around business, wellness, education, and life. We introduce you to some of the most amazing standout entrepreneurs and influencers that are truly making a positive impact in the world. It is your time to shine, and we are helping you do that. So what I want you to do is just click the link in the description below so that you can be a featured guest on our show. Because guess what? It's time for you to come share, shine, and grow, but on the Tina Ramsey Show.
Our CTR Media Network sponsors.
A special shout out to our corporate sponsor, Sheree Moore of SheTrucking.com. SheTrucking.com is committed to helping women and minorities establish and maintain successful careers in the transportation industry. So if you want to know how you can become the next trucker or join the transportation industry, contact SheTrucking.com. And join their free Facebook community with over 30,000 women ready to help and support you on your journey. Check them out at SheTrucking.com.
Thank you to our CTR Media Network sponsors. To learn more about our sponsors and CTR Media Network, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, like making it fun, because it really can be like we were, the big thing for us was the dairy alternatives. So when we first stopped consuming dairy, and we had to find a different milk, we had to find different yogurt, we had to find different creamer, different cheese. So there's a lot of plant-based alternatives, but like, how do you choose just one? And that was part of the fun. It was like, okay, we've tried probably at least 8 different types of plant-based milks, and so we finally find our favorite one. And what happens if that favorite one isn't on the shelf? And like, then you experiment and you find a different one, and that could be fun. Like, even for your children, like it could be a game. Like, okay, we're gonna pick out. You get to pick today which alternative you're gonna do. Is it gonna be this one or this one? And you go bring them to the store, and like you said, make it fun, because it is a really great learning opportunity. Instead of telling our kids, oh, this is just good for you, like explain why, or explain why what they were eating isn't good for them. Like, what does it actually do to their bodies? Like, I love this chart that I created and I share with my clients, but I think my son is now ready for it, right? Like you would say, Dustin's ready to learn, like, which foods are good for us. Like, is it good for your heart? Is it good for your brain? Is it good for your bone density? Like, what in particular is it that we want to give our children, and why do we not pick the other version? And so I think that will help, especially if you have children who have already been eating a certain type of way that you might want to get away from, like, to help them understand why you're making this change, is to be able to actually communicate and explain to them what's going on in their bodies and why they should do it. And if they like certain things, like if your children are athletes, tell them that, like you'll be able to run faster, you'll be able to jump higher, like whatever it is, because your bones are going to be stronger if you eat this instead of these fruit snacks that are full of all these dyes. Or like you'll be able to have a calm body, or you'll be able to focus on the things that you love to do better, because your body is going to be stronger. And so try to get more specific, try to be just very honest on what the processes that you're going through, because change for anybody can be difficult, especially for children who may not have a voice a voice in your family as much as you do, to be able to really include them and educate them on these things.
Yeah, and I think one last thing is when you include the kids, you're going to see that they tend to find the ones that are actually healthier. Dustin always, when we offer options, this is another thing when you're changing, offer options. So don't be at dinner or lunch or breakfast and be like, this is what you got to eat it or else. Because now you're changing your whole diet for the family. Right. So it's good to have multiple options. Say if it's berries and oatmeal, maybe, hey, if you don't want oatmeal, then we can make you eggs. Right. Because we still eat eggs and we try to get ones from the farm if we can. Otherwise, we still look for free range organic eggs too. So yeah, you're gonna see that the kids really end up eating the healthier stuff, and they seem to love the best version of it too. It's with our milk, it was Dustin wouldn't drink a lot of it, and then we watched YouTube explaining on which milks are the best, right? And or non-dairy milks. And when we switched to the one that they recommended as the number one, he started drinking milk all the time. He loved it. I did too. I was just like, wow, this is so much better. And you find out there's like pea protein, magnesium, vitamin D, all these other great vitamins inside of there. So it's a lot of fun to watch your kids change their diet and pick what they think is their favorite, because you're going to find out if it's their favorite, it's probably going to become your favorite too. So it's a lot of fun. And fathers and husbands out there, or fathers and husbands, have fun with it. Don't let moms, wives just take over and do it themselves. I think at first that gave me anxiety and made it not as fun for me. Once I got involved and actually was doing the grocery shopping or going and doing other things like getting the lotions and hygiene products, it was way better and made me feel I was involved in the change with my family.
Yeah, because there was actually quite a few things that you went and got on your own that I had no idea. Like, I think your deodorant was one of them. Your toothpaste, like you found the plant-based versions of it, and that's just so, for me, comforting on these versions, because it's really nice to be able to know that we're also helping not only our bodies and ourselves but also the planet, because a lot of times using those chemicals and synthetics, it's just seeping into, like, where do you think it goes when you're done? It's going also into the soil, into our ground. Like, all these things, like, don't just disappear, like they're still here. And so if you're able to get the eco-friendly version, on it's usually also going to be non-toxic, and so it's going to be non-toxic for you and for the planet.
And families, just be intentional with everything and look into it. Don't be afraid to.
The Finkley Experience, an educational consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education and which prepares high school students for college. For more information, visit their website at thefinkleyexperience.com. Fathers to Father Incorporated, a nonprofit organization that strengthens families through father engagement with a goal to help men in our communities to be great dads. For more information, visit their website, fathertofatherinc.org. Ablaze Entertainment. The goal of Ablaze is to take emerging artists and develop them to the next level of their career. For more information, visit their website at ablazeentertainment.net. Thank you.
So this is your Louisiana girl, Denise Boutte, coming at you on the Michael Finkley Show. And you guys may know me from Why Did I Get Married as the really sweet girl, Trina, or maybe Meet the Browns as Sasha. But I'm coming at you guys from the great state of California, but originally from Louisiana, because you know I can't lose that Southern girl, baby. All right, you guys stay tuned to Michael Finkley.
On the next Michael Finkley, from the hit Star series BMF, Rama Matakavi's with us. She talks about her character Peaches and how she's firing up the screen. Next Finkley.
There's a new familiar face this time. Say hello to the new daytime. See it everywhere you go. Doing the greatest show. It's no other than the Michael Finkley Show. There is no other. He's like no other. I'm so glad that someone resonates with me. Come celebrate with me. Let's do to Michael
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Michael Finkley Show. I'm Michael Finkley. Thank you so much for being with us today. Y'all, I love talking with people who are in their passions, right? It's 2023. Nothing should be stopping you from going to what you want to pursue in, right? There are so many opportunities and options. The only thing that can stop you during this time is you. And our guest today, she is saying that exact same thing. Rama Matakabi is with us as she plays Peaches. I'm telling you, you know some Peaches in your life. She plays Peaches on the Hit Stars series, produced by none other than 50 Cent. I'm talking about Black Mafia Family, BMF. If you're not watching, I'm gonna need you to go watch. But she tells her story and more. Don't you go away, Think Fam. Back in a moment. Next, Rama's with us. Don't you go away.
I hear it's a narrow way.
Hi, I'm Alma. Hi, and I'm Raquel. And we are the Fisher Girls. And you're watching the Michael Finkley Show.
To be in your glory, to stand in your glory.
On the next Michael Finkley, from Paramount's Mayor of Kingstown, Marcus L. Brandon is with us as he gives us all the tea about his character Dietrich and so much more. Next, Finkley. Hello, everybody. It's Finkley from the Finkley Experience. We're an educational consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education. So we assist students with their college and career endeavors. We train school administrators on the state of first-generation students. And also, we partner with colleges and universities to assist their first-generation population for an easy transition from high school to college. So if you're looking for a presenter or speaker that presents on these topics and so much more, visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com and learn about all that we do. We're looking forward to working with you. But hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Now, y'all, my next guest, you have seen her as a regular on the 50 Cent produced awesome show on Stars Network. It is none other than BMF, Black Mafia Family. Y'all, she plays Peaches on this awesome series. She is Rama Matakabi. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am well. Like I said before, super, uber, duper well, fantastic. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I
We'll go
need
with
all
that.
that energy.
All of it. All of it. It's yours. Here, take it. Boom. I love it. I love it. So let's go back to the 4-year-old you, right? When I was 4, I know what I wanted to do, but you said that you wanted to be in the entertainment field, an actress. How did that come about?
I've always been animated, but back then I know that I've definitely seen the home footage that we still have of me, a 4-year-old me, grabbing the banana at the vacation home, peeling it like, hello and welcome. This is the tour of, and I was just like, that was my character. And all the pictures, I'm like in the front of the camera, like I was a ham, and I still am. And it's like every time I tell a story, I'm very animated with it. Everybody was always just like, you should be an actor. I was like, that's what I want to be. So
that's what I want to be. And look at you today. That's why we're having this conversation. Look at you today. But we all have a story before we get to that point, right? Of our dreams coming true. But you were in real estate before you got to this point. How did those different qualities and of being a real estate agent help you to become the actress you are today?
well, in real estate, as you know, you don't get paid until you make a deal, until you close a deal. So that's a lot of free work going into play. And you hear no's all the time. So you're putting in work and you're hearing no's. So a lot like acting, where you gotta hustle and bustle, and you're gonna hear 100 no's before you get one yes. You kind of, I guess it created tougher skin, I should say.
Gotcha. And one big closing helped you accomplish your dream, right? What was that like when you said, I got enough resources and money now to really focus on my craft?
Yeah, it was like a good friend of mine. He came to me and was like, I want a house. So we started finding a house, 4.5 million was my first sale. So I hit the ground running with that. And that commission was amazing. So I was like, you know what? Let me just focus on my energy where I want it to flourish. So I put it all into my acting.
Gotcha. And before we land this amazing role that we see now on Stars, what did that process look like? Because so many people see the glitz and glamour of you now. What did that struggle look like for you?
Ooh, the struggle is real, child. I tell you what. So I started out, of course, like anybody else, we do background work, a lot of background work. I ended up breaking my foot on set. So everything that you saw in BMF, I had a screw put in my foot in February, and I started filming late March.
That's crazy.
I know. So everything was like, you know, God was just basically like, how bad do you want it? I'm gonna throw a little wrench in there and see how hard you're gonna go for it then. So.
And I love those struggles in life, right? We don't love them as we go through them. We're like, why is this happening? What's going on here, right? But at the end of it, when we're settled into that asking of God, right, now we're understanding that's why that happened, right? And we appreciate it. So now when we get to the next level of life or our next biggest dream, we can say, I understand the struggle just a little bit more as time goes on.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to hit like rock bottom, and everything has to be stripped from you before, you know, you're given the opportunity to shine.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like that moment, you know?
Yeah. Thank God for those moments. The light.
God, I love you.
Thank God for those moments. So let's talk about BMF, right? Black for Your Family on Stars, produced by none other than your boy 50 Cent, right? He's doing it up always. So Peaches, right? You play this amazing role of Peaches. Are you like Peaches?
I mean, not the bad parts, just the good parts.
Because I'm telling you, Peaches has some levels.
Yeah, Peaches, that's you're gonna see a lot more levels too. You know, Peaches is on her shit.
I love it. I love it. That's what's up. So, and getting this amazing role because you didn't take any type of acting classes, or you didn't have an agent at the time. So how did this just kind of drop in your lap?
You know, connections are everything. And I think that I've been blessed to have made some amazing, incredible connections with some amazing people. And to mention my entertainment lawyer, Sabria Dublin, she's incredible. She actually got me in connection with Randy Huggins, who's the showrunner and the writer and creator. So with that, Randy gave me an opportunity, and I'm so grateful to him for giving me this opportunity and chance to just audition and prove myself. So the rest is history.
And it is history because, again, you're doing it up. Look at you now. Could you even imagine, you know, all of this happening to you? Could you?
I mean, you know, I always, like, I dreamed of it, you know, I would always, like, picture this, but it's crazy, like, actually being in it now. It's surreal, but I'm just staying present in the moment.
Amazing. And that goes to the testament of that when we speak things, when we vision things, when we say things, they have to come to pass. They have to come to pass. So kudos to you in this amazing, amazing journey. So season 3, you've been renewed for season 3. Are we going to see more Peaches?
I don't know. Hopefully, yes. You know, let's have everybody say they want Peaches in season 3, and you know, hopefully I'll be up in there.
That could be a campaign. You know, we can Peaches, Stars, Peaches. Let's go. I'm good. I got my sign ready. We can do.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Peaches. Listen, I'm doing it.
Like, I'm gonna cry right now. This is crazy.
Oh my God.
My name is Marcus Brandon. You might have seen me as Diedrich on Mayor of Kingstown, and I'm right here sitting with you on the Michael Finley Show.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Father to Father.
The mission of Father to Father Charleston, South Carolina is to help fathers in the Low Country area of South Carolina to be a positive and consistent presence in their children's lives. Father to Father provides community-based programs and support groups for fathers free of charge. They also help fathers connect to other resources they need so they can meet their responsibilities and secure their parental rights. Father to Father offers job coaching and employment connections that benefit fathers. Father to Father is a resource for local organizations that want to provide family support and father-friendly services. If this program is a fit for you, visit our location in North Charleston, South Carolina, and meet our friendly staff here to help and assist. Or visit our website at fathertofatherinc.org.
And it's amazing though, because I talk with a lot of different actors and actresses, and they tend to learn about themselves even more when they're in this character that they play. What has Peaches taught you about yourself?
That's a good question. I think Peaches has taught me to, I don't know, like I've always had my, confidence and felt sexy, but I guess she's made me feel a little sexier and, just more of a boss bitch. That mentality, because that's what she is on the show.
Yes, and I'm telling you, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't say this enough. When a glove fits an individual, this role was made for you. It fits you so well. And we know that's our prayers being answered when it just comes so natural to us. You fit it so well. And I know that when it comes down to, with your acting and, you're doing it up, you're a beast in the field, you're rising to the top, support is necessary. How has that support system been for you in this newfound fame that you have stumbled upon?
I have an amazing support system. I have an amazing group of friends, best friends, my sister. I'm gonna cry because I lost my parents, so I don't have mom and dad who I normally would have called or ran to whenever I get a role or anything exciting going on. So it's been you've only got a handful of people that you could really reach out to like that. So I'm just super grateful for my network of friends and my support system. It's been incredible.
Yeah, and talking about your parents, you lost them a year apart, one 5 years ago, one 6 years ago, correct? And with that, right? How do you in the sense that you are see them as a support? I know that you want them to make you. You make them proud. I know that. How do you see them as a sense of support now after life?
They are my angels guiding me every step of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I start crying.
Oh no,
I'm a crybaby for sure, but
I get it. I just lost my father last year, a day before Father's Day, and he's in a much better place. He's in a much better place because I know that that your parents are as well. But I talk with him, I cry, and I know he's still there watching me. I can hear him in my mind sometimes, go son, go,
Oh, yeah,
So
sure.
they're always there. They're definitely always there. But you have found a new passion as well in the art arena too. Not only do you act, but you paint because you see it as a sign of therapy for you. Talk about that for us.
Oh yeah. It was probably like a good 5 years ago, like right after my dad passed. And I think it was just a lot going on. And one of my good friends, she reached out to me and randomly just asked, like, do you paint? And I was like, I've got my canvas and I've got my paints, and I dipped and dabbled in it a little bit when I lived in New York, but I never really got into it like I got into it more recently. And so we would go over there and we'd have our paint sessions, and it would literally last 6 to 8 hours. We'd sit there and just be, got the candles burning, the music going, have some wine, a little, so we're just we're zoning, we're having a vibe, right. And we would be sitting there just painting our hearts out, and and then seeing what the result was like I did that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It's been awesome.
And I have seen some of your work. I have.
Oh,
I've seen some of your work. It is amazing. It
thank
is
you.
amazing. You can tell that your heart is in. And
Yeah.
really, I don't know why I want to cry right now, but that really makes the difference. That really makes the difference. So I encourage you to continue on because you never know where that path is going to lead you as well.
Oh God. And I just came from a meeting too, and that's about to be a whole nother side of Rama that you guys are gonna see. Like, I'm gonna cry right now. This is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
That is
We're
so
excited for your future. We're excited. We're excited. Big fan, we're
Thank
excited. We're very, very excited. And when you have your first show, please invite us. You know, I'm
good.
like,
Of course.
Ron, I want to be there. I'm write a
Yeah.
check. Listen, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go.
Sure.
Let's go.
For
Oh my
sure.
God. Promising future on all realms. So season 3, we've seen season 1. You brought in your character season 2. What can we expect more in season 3? Is it going to elevate to the next level? Is it going to go shift left? And like, I wasn't expecting that. What's going to happen?
Well, I do know the story is going to Atlanta. You know, so they leave Detroit. So I mean, that's in the story, you know, that you see on the documentary. So I'm pretty sure that they're going to be taking it there. And in my opinion, I don't know anything. This is off the record, unofficial. This is just my opinion. But yeah, so that's just, you know, where I foresee it going for season 3.
I love it. I love it. Oh, wow. We're excited. We're still watching. We're going to watch season 3. Preferably, we're going to see more Peaches as well. We love the character. Thank you so much for all you do. We talked about your 4-year-old self when we first began. What would you tell your 4-year-old self right now?
We did it. We did it. And this is only the beginning.
We did it. I love it. I love it. Awesomeness. How can the Think Fam follow you on social media? And once again, how can we watch this amazing series, BMF?
BMF is Black Mafia Fridays. Every Friday, you can watch it on Stars. If you're a super Uber fan, then you can watch it on Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific time and at midnight East Coast time. It is on the Stars Network. You can find me at Rama June, RAMAJOON, on all platforms. So yeah, and I'll have my website coming up soon, but it's under construction right now. It's going to be ramamontakabi.com.
All right, tell us, and we'll blast it. We'll blast that information. All your information is in the description below as well. Rama, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
You're so welcome. Thank you. A great start. Great start. Many things coming, y'all. Many things coming.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank
Don't
you.
go away. Back and forth.
I'm Joey Marie Urbina, and I play Xiomara in Snowfall. And you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
What's up, family? Think fam, we here. Like I said, I'm here to make you better. And for you to get better, you need to do something for me. And this is important. I need you to stop being lazy. Like, straight off the bat. If you can stop being lazy, we getting somewhere. If you can stop being pushed by feelings, we getting somewhere. If you can start doing the work when it's hard, we getting somewhere. Like, point blank period. I just need you to start. Like, I just need you to get up. If you're sitting on the couch, I need you to get up off the couch, and I need you to make some moves. I need you to start moving. I need you to do what you need to do for the day. I need you to go to the gym. I need you to get to moving. Like, you're sitting there watching TV all day is not being nowhere near productive to where you're trying to go in life. I hear a lot of people say, I'm trying to get to this place. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to go there. I'm trying to achieve this. But you're lazy and you're not reaching nothing because you're being lazy. You're not putting in no work. Your work ethic is at 0. Like, and I need you to go from 0 to 100%. Like 0 to 100%. And I'm gonna be clearly honest. You may not go 0 to 100. You may go 0 to 20. But as long as you're not at 0, you're getting somewhere. And as long as when you get to 0 to 20, as long as you don't stay at 20, we're getting somewhere. That means you're growing. So I need you to be honest with yourself at this moment. I need you to say to yourself, and what percentage am I giving? Is I'm giving 0? If I'm giving 50? Is I'm giving 75? Or you like, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm giving 100. Like, just be honest with yourself and tell yourself where you at, and I need you to go above that. So if you're at 50 right now, if you're like, I'm giving 50%, but I want to be successful though. I want to be free financially. I want to be able to travel when I want to. I want to be able to not have to worry about bills. And I want to be able to have the life that I've been dreaming of. You know 50 not going to cut it. Because 50 haven't been cutting it. 50 haven't been getting you there. So what that mean? That means you need to do more. So that's all I'm asking you. Stop being lazy and do more than what you've been doing. Because if you're not there yet, what you've been doing haven't been working. Honestly. So for this season, for this week, until I see you next week, I need you to do more. I need you to do more. Don't be lazy on me. Do more. And when you do more, you get more. You get rewarded more. You get more out of it. So remember, put in that work. Do more work. Get to 100. Get to 120. We need it.
This is comedian Eric Escobar, the Mexipino millennial, and you are watching Gold right now. You know why? Because you're watching The Michael Finkley Show. Stay tuned.
Hey, did you get your merch yet? Your Michael Finkley merch. Visit our website, michaelfinkley.com, and click Finkley Store. You won't be disappointed. I'm telling you. That's good. Hey, Think Fam, it's your favorite host, Michael Finkley, and you can listen to us on CTR Media Network. Go listen in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. I hope that you were informed and entertained and also inspired by this amazing interview. Thank you so much, Rama, for being with us and being who you are as an individual. Again, if you're not watching this amazing series, go watch it. It's on Stars. The Stars Network is produced by 50 Cent's Black Mafia Family, BMF. Go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it. I promise you. Yeah, you're going to enjoy it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Michael Finkley Show. Ring that bell for notification. We'll see you in email saying, hey, new content's available. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And for more information about what we do, visit our website, michaelfinkleyshow.com. Think Fam, always remember, pursue your dreams. Have a good one.
The world is hurting right now, and it's time to rise up. As we lift ourselves up in body, mind, and spirit, we can reach out to others and be a light in a sea of darkness. Welcome to the Movement for Global Health with your host, Dr. Mary Zenit.
We are good. Dr. Dolores Fazzino has dedicated her life to bridging the world of spirituality and wellness. She is a healer, a medical intuitive, and a visionary with over 40 years experience in healthcare. She earned a Doctor of Nursing practice in 2008 from Case Western University, one of the top nursing programs in the nation. Recognizing the many gaps in healthcare, Dr. Dolores Fazzino takes us beyond the mind-body paradigm and integrates spirituality in wellness. She is a highly talented and powerful coach and healer, and we are absolutely privileged to welcome her today.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mary. I so appreciate that, and Happy New Year to you and
Yes.
to your audience.
Yes.
It's been a ride, hasn't it?
We're fastened our seatbelts, and yep. But this is a perfect opportunity to really launch in the new year and be in alignment and stay grounded. But it sounds like this is a huge opportunity to spread our wings and in ways that I think we may have never thought possible.
Very true. And my tagline is healing in ways you never thought possible, which is interesting. And I love my tagline because how many times do each of us individually think that we have it all figured out,
Yes.
and we got these blinders on and we're going down this path and we're missing what is possible that's the blinders are hiding. There's many ways to accomplish things. It's not just a one straight shot path. There's many times people get sick, and that's a given. We're human beings and our physical bodies, and we nourish it and stuff like that. It's a beautiful alchemy of the mind, body, spirit, and it all working together. It's not compartmentalized and everything's in a separate box. And being in Western medicine and Western medicine trained myself, and I believe you are as well, Dr. Mary, is that we've been taught that things are in boxes and they don't communicate with each other. But that's not true. They do.
And is that what you mean when you say a glimpse of what to expect, healing that you never thought possible?
Exactly. And, I'm going to just share a very brief story. I'll try to make it very brief, but, believe it or not, I was on a trajectory as a young person to become a concert clarinetist. And in the 11th hour, I changed my, my educational track. And it was because my father, who had been ill for a very long time, and this goes back during the 1960s and 70s, before we had a lot of the advanced technology that we have today and all the medications and stuff. He ended up getting a hospital-acquired infection with a back surgery back in the 60s, and had every so often he would just get very violently ill. And what was happening was when his immune system got compromised, his body would react and form abscesses in his abdominal cavity. So this went on for about 4 different times, and each time this happened, he was in the hospital for at least 2 months on his deathbed. And so my mother was not happy with what Western medicine was providing for her. And this is back in the 1970s at this time. So this is way before what we have today, and what is even accepted more so today than ever. And so what happened was she ended up doing some reading, and at the time the Google of the day was the National Enquirer. Okay. That was like where you got all your information, because we didn't have electronic and all the Google searches that we have today. But they were featuring an article about a minister from Carroll, Michigan, who had the gift of laying on of hands. And at that time, in about 1975, he had been doing this type of work for over 25 years with a high success rate. In fact, he assisted his brother in healing from leukemia. So that's why they were featuring him. And my mom was fascinated by this and said, this is what we need to do. We need to get this man to come to see, your father. So of course, my dad, being the skeptic that he was, he should have been from Missouri, because he, you needed to show me what was going on. He said to my mom, only if the surgeon agrees. So at that time, my mother and father were both in the hospital. My dad was, an inpatient. The surgeon that they were working with was sitting at the nurse's station. So my mom went out to the nurse's station, and the surgeon was there, and she announced to the surgeon, I'm thinking about having a spiritual healer come in to assist my husband with his condition. Would that be okay? Surgeon's writing, didn't miss a beat, looked up at her and said, sure, that's fine. Those were the words that my mom needed. So my mom went back into my dad's room and shared that news. Not 10 minutes go by, Dr. Mary. My mom goes back out to that nurse's station, same surgeon sitting there. She announced to the surgeon, my husband agreed to have the spiritual healer to come to make a visit. He dropped his pen and looked up and said, what are you talking about? I never agreed to that. That's what I call a God moment, when there's like a opportunity for the spirit to come in to speak to somebody to do that. So of course, my mother didn't share that piece of the information with my father. And a month later, Reverend Holmes came to our humble little home in Connecticut. I grew up in Connecticut. I'm a New Englander, and I currently live in San Diego, and I've been here for the last 35 years. But anyway, so what happened was he came to our home, and at that time I was like 17, Junior, and my brother, and my two sisters and my two grandmothers were there. The minister was a very humble, but I loved his energy. I don't know how he knew this, but he looked at my father and said, one of your legs is shorter than the other, which we all knew, because my dad used to wear a lift in his shoe, but he was barefooted in his slippers and no lifts or anything. So he had my father lift both his feet up, and you could tell that there was like a 1-inch gap when he put a book there. He had my dad lower his legs, and he said some prayers over my father, touched his belly, his solar plexus, basically in the top of his head, his crown chakra. And he said some prayers, and he had maybe 3 minutes passed. He said, now put both your legs up. And in that moment, both his legs were the same length. Now, you remember, my father was the skeptic. He needed to see something tangible so he could start believing.
Exactly.
And so he started bawling like a baby. And that's one of the 5 times that I probably saw him break down emotionally ever in my life. And at that time, I just knew that it was my initiation that what I was witnessing was something that I needed to share with the world, and also to integrate that into health and wellness. So it was a life changer, my initiation. And I knew from that point I needed to go into healthcare. And so I've dedicated my life to bridging what can be seen and what can't be seen, the physical with the spiritual, in order to offer hope and healing for people.
That is remarkable.
And the best part was, after that was complete, my father went back to the hospital and they ran studies. They showed no evidence of where he had the infection that he had back in the 60s. He never had to revisit that problem. And he actually passed away about 10 years ago at the age of 80.
Wow. And he had good quality of life?
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a miracle.
It was a miracle. I witnessed a miracle.
You witnessed a miracle. Exactly.
I did. And, just the way the universe orchestrated that through that one physician, giving the permission basically, and then having no recollection of it. I just crack up about that because I knew exactly what that was, like a God moment. Something happened on a bigger scheme that allowed it to line up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so
that
when
is remarkable.
Thank you, Dr. Mary. And when you're open to receiving that information and you follow through on it, this is where the miracles in life happen.
Mhm.
It's learning how to trust that wisdom that we all have, that inner knowingness, that
And
voice
is that what
talks
you
to us.
mean? That inner knowingness?
Yep. Yeah. We all have intuitive abilities. We have been programmed in our world and society not to trust that, to give our power away to something outside of ourselves. Okay. And, we see this in healthcare a lot. And I could say this because I witnessed this personally and professionally, how people give their power away to, the physician because they think they know what they know. But you know what? You as an individual have lived in your Taj Mahal for your entire life. If you're tuned into what's going on and tuned into listening what your body is telling you, you could tell whether or not this is in alignment with what you need or not. And I think this is the missing piece in our health and wellness today. People weren't listening to that piece.
Well, and we live in a world where it's so noisy. It's very hard to disconnect so you can start getting in touch again with yourself, your own. But don't you see that it's like part of the work that you do? You're helping people to have that quiet time.
Exactly.
To begin to trust. I mean, the noise level is.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's very distracting. And, I don't know.
Extremely.
Yeah. And I don't know if you witnessed this too. We all lived through the whole COVID thing. I found it very interesting when COVID kind of began and went down, basically, where everything was on lockdown for the first 2 weeks. And people just, you have to, I'm going to preface this with, we've always been in motion.
Yes.
Constantly in motion, constantly distracted.
Yes.
Constantly thinking that in order to look like we're productive members of society, we have to be in doing mode all the time, which is pretty stressful. We know that when we're always trying to make something happen, you're in constant fight or flight, and you're in fight all the time.
That's right.
Okay, that's stress. That's a lot of stress. And, you can't keep moving in that direction without repercussions. And you and I both know this, that when you have stress and anxiety, your immune system gets compromised. When your immune system gets compromised, it's a setup for catching a lot of different things.
Absolutely. And it's like you said, it's doing, go, 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 go. But then what happened with COVID, but some people embraced the being.
Exactly. Yes.
Some of them embraced it. Oh, I need to shift. But then others succumbed to the fear. And so it's like going from one extreme to the other, and none of which is good for your immune system.
Absolutely. And, to add to that too, it was interesting. My observation was is that some people just couldn't be by themselves.
Right.
They needed to be distracted. So to me, that was really telling, because it's like, it's about having a relationship with ourselves. And I always tell this to my clients, is that, the longest relationship you're ever going to have in your life, believe it or not, is the one with yourself.
That's right.
And it's just like, and how's that going? It's just like, how are you treating it? Are you treating it like your best friend, or are you beating the hell out of it, trying to, keep up with everybody and everything that's on the outside? Or are you coming within and loving and nurturing and being your own advocate? It's extreme self-care. but it's a necessity. It's the foundational piece that's going to allow people to thrive and move beyond surviving.
It really is. It really
Yeah.
is. And I don't think so. So, you know, we got out of that COVID phase, but there's still a tremendous amount of residual.
There's a lot of
deep
fear.
scarring. Oh, yes.
There's a lot of
yes.
fear still. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
people you're working with, you're doing all you can to empower them
Absolutely.
to embrace themselves.
Absolutely. And the thing is that there's no bypass. Okay. There's no magic pill to take. You have to be brave and courageous and take a step into it and claim your power.
Exactly.
It's your sovereign right as a human being. And the thing is, so many of us have just given away to, you know, things outside of ourselves. And it's kind of interesting now to look at, you know, I'm still in the healthcare industry. I assist in surgery as an assistant surgeon, but I also have my coaching practice and stuff like that because I like to keep a foot into that world just to observe and to assist in any way that I can with people and empowering them to take their power back. And I've seen a lot of people, you talk about the great resignation. A lot of people have decided to take their power back and just decided that enough is enough. I can't be going in this direction anymore. It's no longer aligned with who I am. I'm not being respected, valued, or appreciated for what I bring to the table. So they're out of there. And I don't blame them. I say, bravo, good for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is true, validating yourself.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We're all born with a mission and a purpose and things, gifts that we have. And no two of us have the same gifts.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it so delicious and wonderful, because what's going to work for one person may not work for somebody else. That's why it's great to have all these choices. And it's about us individually learning how to tap into what we're leaning into and interested in, because that's a hint that maybe that's where we need to go. So it's teaching people how to embrace that intuition, that intuitive part of themselves, to make the right choices for them, not for everybody else, but for them individually.
And is that part of what you mean by trusting your inner wisdom?
Absolutely, Dr. Mary. Absolutely. Yeah. Because we have been told, oh, that's just airy fairy and it's not, realistic. It's not evidence-based. It's evidence-based for me. And I've been in a world where they really practice, Western medicine, everything is perfect the way it is. Everything has its good things and its not so good things. And the thing is that when people, it's just information. It's like, it's about you aligning with what feels right for you.
Exactly.
It's about feeling too. We've also, have learned how to intellectualize our emotions, keep them way up in our head and think about it instead of actually being in your physical body and experiencing them.
I want to talk more about that, because you talk about embracing all your emotions.
Yes.
And now I want to share so that people, because I know some people say, well, I can easily get derailed by my emotions. So how do I embrace all of our emotions?
I'm just going to elaborate on just emotions before I really get into the meat and potatoes of this, Dr. Mary, because I think this is important. Emotions have been given a bad rap in our society. We have been told from an early age, don't feel. I know I grew up in a household where my mom's MO was ignore it, it'll go away. And it never went away because energetically it never was experienced.
Exactly.
So it's still lingering. So I think a lot of times when people have PTSD, this is what's happened. It's like the fear or whatever has been locked away in a time and a place.
Wow.
Now, fast forwarding to now is that sometimes we get triggered and things come up, and sometimes it's not the pleasant things you want to be experiencing. I encourage people in your audience to experiment with this. Okay. So that emotion is part of who you are and an experience. Instead of trying to stuff it away, put it in a box and put it on a shelf and save it for later or ignore it or whatever, I embrace you to take it out of the box and just embrace it and love it like your favorite pet, your favorite child, your favorite grandchild, your favorite thing. Just love it up because it's a part of you that wants to come back to home to be reintegrated with you. It's very shamanic in its aspect, okay? Because it's calling back parts of yourself so it could be reintegrated within yourself. So number one, you become more complete and whole within yourself, and you're more present in your body.
So you're saying don't put a lid on it, don't put the covers on it, and don't pretend. Don't pretend everything's fine when it's not.
Exactly.
When it's not.
People, when people, for me, I could tell looking at somebody what's going on. That's just one of my gifts as a medical intuitive. And it's just like, it's all feel. For me as a medical intuitive, I'm very fluid in reading energy. So it's like you're able to feel and sense what's going on and give them insight as to, have you ever considered this? And, I've noticed this, what's going on? And all of a sudden the tears come, because it's like, it's been it's been identified. I wouldn't say labeled, identified.
Right.
And now they could do something with it because it's like, it's an unconscious thing that's driving a person to do things. And what's beautiful of what's happening in this moment of time is that the unconscious is becoming conscious. Okay. A lot of light is being shown onto our planet. So we're seeing all the stuff that's been covert and hidden, individually, but also globally, as what's happening in governments and, the things that have been going on for eons. The big beacon of light is shining in. So once the light is shining in, it can't hide anymore. The good thing is now we have a choice and we could do something about it, clean it up and move forward.
Yes. It's profound. It's a profound moment in history. It really is.
And we're all here witnessing it and experiencing it.
Yeah, and you know what? We're supposed to be here.
Absolutely.
Because I hear people say, this is so, because it is challenging. We're evolving. So of course, every aspect of our life, there's like an old part and a new part. There's a lot of, how would you say, stepping outside our comfort zones.
Oh, without a doubt, Dr. Mary, it's really about, it's like you're on the fringes of your comfort zone. And, for those who are brave of heart, I invite you to take a dive into it. For others, it might be just stick your toe in. It's okay. But it's just like, it's like, be courageous, be brave. We chose to be here at this time. And the thing is that, people are like, oh no, well, yes, it was a choice, believe it or not. Before we incarnated, we made that choice to be here. And I shake my hand at the universe sometimes saying, what was I thinking?
What? But then you know what? I hear some other courageous souls saying, I wouldn't miss a moment. And believe me, the circumstances are not easy. The life is not easy, but I would not miss a moment.
And I'm growing into that because, I think many of us who are on this path right now have had some very challenging years in our early years that we've had to overcome things and move forward. And what's beautiful about it is that once you get to the other side of it and you look back and you could see how everything lined itself up to get to where you're at. And, many of us are now teaching people, helping people
Yes.
maneuver through things that we all went through because we didn't have any reference point. We had to experience it and live it. Now we could teach it. So I know, Mary,
Absolutely.
you're probably aligned with this, is that I don't expect people to do things or that I haven't personally done myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because I know, I've been there, I know, I feel it, and I experience it. Experience it, and now it's time for me to light the pathway for you, to encourage you to walk.
Exactly. And you know what, Dr. Dolores, everybody's circumstances are different,
Absolutely.
but we're united. Like you say, we had our early upbringings. We needed tremendous obstacles. And now these past few years, it's really been extremely challenging.
Absolutely.
But what we're doing and what I'm hearing you say is be less focused on the externals and put the spotlight on the internal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Your own inner self, your knowing what you're here for. Where are you at this moment in your life? And what should you be doing that would more enrich you, that's part of your own purpose and destiny?
That's very true. And in order to be able to listen to that, you have to be able to quiet the noise. Okay. And the thing is that sometimes it's a nanosecond to nanosecond thing. And it's very possible. It's about learning how to do mindful activities. A mindful activity may be learning how to meditate. That's not the only mindful activity. Being out in nature, if you're like a animal person, connecting with animals in nature. Let me tell you, if you take a walk in nature and animals cross your path, they're giving you messages. It's a very, I go back to the shamanic thing, but animals carry messages. You're able to commune with nature. If you observe nature, they're in harmony with their environment. They really are.
Yes.
They're in being mode versus doing mode.
Wow. Well, that's a
Right.
really important tip, being in touch with nature.
Yep.
What others? What are some others?
Some others, plants, talking about nature, spend time in a garden. If you're able to, even if you live in an urban or in the city, you could have a patio and just get some plants and garden. You do a herb garden or something like that. But also, I invite you to turn off the news, turn off the electronic devices. Make sure that you leave your phone home sometimes. It's like, this is like an appendage that we grew. It's
so true.
I'm guilty of this myself, but the thing is that I really make it a conscious effort to, sometimes leave the phone in the house and go out in the backyard. Believe me, my emails and my messages will be there later.
They will be there. I think that's so important. And you know what, Dr. Dolores, all this electromagnetic radiation is not the best for us anyway. It's our inner being.
Absolutely. And how many people, put their phones in their clothing, like their pockets?
I know.
And, it's great now that we have like Bluetooth technology, but when we used to put it up to your phone, that can't be good for you.
No.
So it's just like, be mindful of where you're putting your phone too, because you might start having challenges with your health in those areas. So, which is an interesting thing too. So that's another conversation, but it's funny. We're more in the moment with our electronic devices than we are with ourselves.
We are. So what I'm hearing you say is, it's a must to shut this off.
I think so.
On a regular basis.
I would, if it's difficult for people to do it, I just invite you to take baby steps. Do it for 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Do it for 15 minutes every couple of hours. Set the timer and just
Exactly.
walk away, sit on your couch, just be quiet and just allow yourself to sit in the quiet.
Exactly. Be
Sometimes,
present.
sometimes for some people, being in a car driving is a very mindful activity, as long as they're not blasting AC/DC in the background, or, you know, if they are, they're consciously doing that. I mean, but my point is that sometimes sitting in silence is where you are actually being, but you're receiving those golden nuggets that lead you to the next place that you need to go.
Dr. Dolores, while we're talking about this, tell us about your book. You wrote an amazing itty bitty book.
I did, and it was published in October of 2022, and it made Amazon bestseller. And it's about, I call it Healing in Ways You Never Thought Possible, 15 Tips to, I have to get this because it's such a long title. It says 15 tips. There we go.
I
That's
see it. Healing in ways you never thought possible. 15 key steps to manifesting true health and lasting wellness.
Yes, and it's available on Amazon. But what it is, it's one of those books that you could actually put in your backpack, your purse, or whatever, and keep it with you. And just even when you're going through anything that's stressful or it's pushing your buttons, people have said that they've used this. They just get it out and just open it randomly, and it's just they get what they need. It's one of those books that it's very short, sweet, to the point, very bullet pointed, meaning that it's not like a big novel or a big book, because let's face it, our attention span today is like so less is actually more. So if you're able to get your point across in concise units,
yes,
people will embrace it and learn it. I've written several other books and they were much longer, and I'm just finding that short, sweet, and to the point. It's like the KISS approach. Keep it simple, sweetie. You know what I'm saying? We make things way more complicated than they have to be. And that creates so much drama and chaos.
And anxiety.
Really. And it's just like, is it really necessary? It's not.
No, it's not.
And it's just retraining people to look at it from that perspective, because once you're in your physical body, you're more grounded in yourself, and you're just more, you're in your body. But interesting, you probably experienced this too, Dr. Mary. It's like once you're there, it's like you're actually everywhere.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like you have this expanded awareness, but you're planted right in your body instead of you being out there in your head, because you're grounded. And that's huge, because you could make in the moment decisions, and you could trust that inner wisdom, because that's when you're able to tap into that. And that's when you're able to experience your emotions and then determine what you're going to do with it. Instead of reacting, you're more contemplative.
So before we close, how can our listeners get in touch with you and learn more about you?
They're welcome to go to my website. It's drdoloresfazino.com. And I also have a free gift, and I'm going to leave the link for that too. And that is a guided meditation that helps you stay in the present moment.
Oh.
And it's a very short and sweet one. It's probably maybe 7 minutes total. And that's what I mean by short and sweet. It's very doable. And I invite people to sign up for that and to get a copy of it, because it's free, and just use it whenever you feel like you're getting rattled, or you're not in your body, and you're going to notice a huge difference after you experience that.
Is that right on your website?
It is, but I'm also going to leave the link for it as well.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's
beautiful.
there. So yeah, and my book's available on my website, and through the website you can get to where it is on Amazon, but I also have several others too that people might be interested in. Yeah, it's if you're ready to make some changes in your life and embrace who you are, I'm the person for you that could help you. I've helped a lot of people.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, everything you've spoken about here is doable for every single one of us. Because I hear too many, in our minds, it's like, oh, I can't afford this. I can't. And I get it. Trust me, I truly get it. However, you can afford to take time for yourself. These resources that you're talking about, that meditation is free. You're giving a gift. You're giving a gift and a little itty bitty book. How reasonable is that? But there's pearls in there.
That's right. And the thing is, it's like, it's a new year, a new beginning.
Yes.
And, if people want to create more certainty in their life in an uncertain world, it's time to come within to exercise and develop that muscle. We all have that capability. It's, I look at it as a continuum. You either have not accessed it or you're fully accessed it, and everybody's along that way. And even when you get to, the other end of it, you're going to be blown away because you're still going to be learning stuff.
Yes.
It's like I learn new stuff every day. It's just mind-boggling. I had to crack up because, I work with a lot of people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and I'm in my 60s, and I have to crack up when a 20-year-old tells me this. It's like, well, I'll be doing this another three months, and I'll know everything. And I looked at them and I said, well, you know what? You may want to change your mentor. I said, because at my age, I still haven't learned everything, and I'm learning something every day. I just had to laugh. It was so funny.
I know. But see, that's a limiting belief. It's limiting because you're thinking, oh, I'll know everything.
Exactly. Well, good for you. It's like, could I touch you? But that's just not how it works. But I have to chuckle because it's like I'm entertained daily. It's
exactly.
And I love people too. So it's just like you just have to love human nature. But yeah,
it's so true. All right. Well, it has been a joy having you.
Thank you, Dr. Mary.
Dr. Dolores.
I appreciate the opportunity
for the audience.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, please, just be gentle with yourself. You're on a journey, and just take baby steps. And sometimes it just takes that first baby step in order to create something different. And just be brave and courageous. And you just also know that you're loved more than you can imagine.
That's so powerful. And again, this is so significant at the start of the new year, 2023.
Yeah, absolutely.
So significant. So we'll have your resources below, and I encourage all of our listeners to get them, embrace what you're learning in them, and share with others. Share with others. There's so many people who would so greatly benefit from these resources that Dr. Dolores is offering, and your wisdom and your insight.
Thank you so much, Barry. I appreciate the opportunity to share with your audience.
All right, then. All right. You have a wonderful day. Thanks again, Dr. Dolores.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
time is now, the time is here. Round up the soldiers and lend me your ear. Pick your head up, stick your chest out, be strong, listen closely, cause men can't always be wrong. Steve-O, JB, B. Hudson, and T. Swin. Gon' get your mind right, let's dive in the deep end and attack the issues and problems that hound us today. Yeah, we got in the field, but we ain't coming to play. We all shepherds trying to keep the flock from going astray. If you wanna be the change, then let's be it today. Now there's always obstacles that's gonna get in your way, but it's important how you handle it, maneuver and pray. We keep you up to date with current affairs. We all know that the structure been broken, so let's make the repairs. There's a culture trying to cancel us and give you a spin, but you can come and get the truth from this panel of men. We on 10, going in, let the speech be free. We about to knock down the doors, you can keep the key. God first, then man, so let's execute the plan and deliver the message so that people can understand. Like, the time is now, the time is here. Round up the soldiers and lend me your ear. Pick your head up, stick your chest out, be strong, listen closely, cause men can't always be wrong. The time is now, the time is here. Round up the soldiers and lend me your ear. Pick your head up, stick your chest out, be strong, listen closely, cause men can't always be wrong. Men can't always be. Men can't always be. Men can't always be wrong.
What's up, everybody? Back again. It's the Men Can't Always Be Wrong podcast brought to you by CTR Media Network. And this is your guy T Swin. Tonight we have a really good show. It's going to be very informative. We have a special guest, really cool individual, man, super energetic, brings positive energy wherever he goes. So I'm going to introduce my other host for the show.
It's your boy JB. I'm going to keep it really short, man. We got a really good show, man. A lot of good information going to be on this show. So you might well get a pen and piece of paper.
Hey, peace and blessings. I'm excited about tonight. This is going to be a good one as always, and looking forward to chopping it up with our guests.
Hey, what's up, ZLDC1? Hey, shout out to everybody that's been supporting the podcast. And yeah, we got Mr. Mario Armstrong in the building. So it's going to be a podcast, like I said, pull out your pens, your pads, everything's going to be a lot of information out here. And I'm gonna I ain't gonna do too much talking. I'm gonna be listening myself. I know everybody used to me talking, but I'm gonna take in this information like everybody else. So, you know, congrats and salute to all the gentlemen on the show too, man. Salute to y'all, man.
Yes, sir. Back at you. And man, now our special guest of the evening.
Yo, what's up, fam?
Mr. Mario Armstrong. What's up?
T-Swin, we've been trying to get this set up for a minute, right?
Yes, sir. It's been some time. Man, we appreciate you stopping by and coming on with us.
Man, this is a big deal. I appreciate you all taking out the time in your show. You could have had any guest on the show, but you decided to roll with me, so I appreciate it. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We all about spreading good energy and positive information and energy, man. So, Mr. Armstrong, man, so give some background on yourself.
Man, I mean, the quick background would be, you know, I'm a husband, married to my wife for over 10 years, over 15 years, actually. And we got a son named Christopher. And my wife and I are actually in business together. We went broke pursuing our dream and really fought through that, just like everybody else. Everybody's gone through some kind of dip or some kind of what feels more permanent than temporary at times. But everybody's gone through something that has really kind of pushed you to your limit. And that was us. Other people have had worse situations that we've had, but that was our bottom. That was our low when we were out of money, when we were bankrupt and my mother-in-law was paying for our groceries. My godmother was paying for my train tickets. I'm a Baltimore boy, born and raised in Bmore. And we had a lot of opportunity that I was kind of cooking up at the time in New York and trying to get onto these TV networks and all these media places, because I was like this person that could talk about tech in a way that was really accessible to a lot of people. So I was able to break down technology in a way that was really understandable. And at that time, there wasn't really anybody else. There was only like myself, maybe Omar Wasso, a couple other people. There's very few people that was doing this. So it opened up a lane, but I didn't have any money to really execute the lane. So what's worse is when you know you got something of value, of something of a talent or a gift to share, but you're having trouble executing it because you don't have the resources or you don't have the access. And I just think that my story is kind of testament to not giving up, being resilient, and being creative. Damon John, who is now like a friend, and also a business partner. He says in his book, you know, it's the power of being broke. When you're broke, you got no other choice but to get creative. Like a lot of people don't know, that same FUBU t-shirt that was showing up in music videos in the 90s was like one of 3 t-shirts that he had. He didn't have a line of them. He was just washing that same old sweaty ass t-shirt and putting it on another rapper and throwing it on a video shoot. People don't know that. So it's like they think that, you know, everybody was wearing something fresh. Nah, he was recycling stuff. Like, I got to get that back after the shoot so I can take it to the next one, try to get some more free marketing. So everybody's been through something. And I'm just happy that, you know, we kind of persevered through and we started building. For those that don't know, I create content for entrepreneurs and creators. And we teach you all how to everything from how to build your business, to build your personal brand, get into the media, and how to get access to money from corporate sponsors. And that's when we unlocked that, things started changing for us. When we started understanding how to get funding from that non-traditional source, instead of just going into our credit cards or trying to get a loan or family and friends, that's when we really started getting some steam behind us. Because I was like, oh, wait, I can create an idea and I can sell the idea and I can convince a brand to sponsor it. So I can actually get some of this money up front for the idea. And that kind of changed everything once I got kind of in on that particular angle. And so now today, you know, we got a couple of Emmys that we've won for some of the shows that we've created. And this is just kind of a testament to, like, it's really not about the Emmy more than it's about like persevering your dream and just kind of sticking through and staying, you know, straight resilient. Because when you get knocked down, it's hard to get back up, but you got to know who you're fighting for. And I think we knew who we were fighting for, and that's why we were able to rise back up.
So where did I would like to know, because I have a lot of quotes in my life, and you use the quote, never settle. So I want to know what brought you to the quote, never settle. Like, what happened in your life to say, hey, I'm never going to settle? Because, you know, a lot of people settle. A lot of people get stuck in their ways. A lot of people stuck in situations, say, man, I'm going to just settle and try to bump this. So what happened in your life that made you go with that quote, that made that a powerful quote for you?
Yeah, bro, that's really a great insight, because, I mean, look, it's easier to not have ambition. Like, it's just easier. It's easier to not have ambition. The problem is many of us know something about us that we're great at. We know we got some kind of gift. We know we have some talent, whether we want to believe it or not. Somebody else has told us. Some of us actually know what that is. And so when you actually are being true to yourself and you know that, then it becomes difficult. I think the hardest thing for a human being is to actually know what they're good at, but not be able to see how to execute it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's gotta hurt. Like, you know, you can sing, but you have no idea how to get your music out there, or how to build it. You know what I mean? You got people now like Toby and Wigway, you got LaRussell, you got other people kind of showing the way of like how you can do this now, but you didn't really have that several years ago. Really, you just didn't. You had to get signed if you really wanted to pop. So I think for me, what happened was, one time I was on Twitter, man, and I said, I wish I could find. I need to go and try to find this tweet. I think we actually saved it as an image, but I got to go and look in our Google Drive to see if it's there. But I remember typing up this motivational tweet, and it was just like, we were right in the grind of people telling us no to the show idea that we were launching. We were trying to launch a talk show that was going to have a live studio audience, but it was going to be all about entrepreneurship and telling stories about really people of color, but also other people, but mostly people of color, and their stories as it relates to being an entrepreneur.
Right.
But we want to do it with a live audience, live interaction, people watching live online, as well as being live in studio. And so it was a big production for us at that time. And I remember like getting told no by some of these networks that I had already built a relationship with. And I remember tweeting, and I was just like, if you believe in what you believe in, you got to put the work in. It was something like that. It was some kind of rhyme that I did. And then I was like, hashtag never settle. And then nobody paid attention to anything I said in the tweet. Everybody came back with like, yeah, never settle. Yeah, never settle. And so we saw like this like response to those two words. And we were like, yo, what is that? Like, we just tapped something. And so at that point, I think we just adopted it. And that's when we started the Never Settle Club. And that's when we started really just focusing in on what does it mean to not give up? Hashtag never settle.
No, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
But that really all comes from watching my dad, you know, as a Baltimore kid, being raised, for those in Baltimore that know, like being raised over by Mondawmin Mall and Druid Hill. And these are places where Drew Hill came from and stuff like that. Like, not too far from where Freddie Gray riots happened, which is called an area called Penn North. Like I live like around, grew up around the corner from that. But then like my dad was always on that, like, I got to get us to bigger and better, right? I got to get us to bigger and better. And I just remember watching my dad go broke pursuing his dream of like trying to create a Motown in Baltimore at the time. And he had a couple of music groups under him, and they did get to travel, because I remember a Christmas or two when he wasn't there because he was in Tokyo. He was in Japan with the group. But it didn't work out. Like, he just didn't get those hits that really could send it off into a whole other thing. And watching him be able to kind of bounce back from pursuing that dream, having to claim bankruptcy. I remember riding around with him in the car, and he would go looking for home. Like we barely making ends meet, and he's looking for new homes, like in new neighborhoods that I don't even know about. Like, he was just on that kind of level. And I think that impressioned me as a young Black male. I think it just made me see, like, yo, you can really do what you think you can do. You just got to really have a vision for it, and you got to take some steps towards it.
Man, I think your dad gave you something that you just said happened in your future, because just like you said with the Fubu, with the dude with the Fubu shirts, he had to fake it till you make it, right? And I think your dad, and I do the same thing with my son, I showed him stuff that I really can't afford or really good, but I try to show them, say, hey, you can do this, even though I can't. In my head, I'm like, man, I really can't. Like, sometimes I got a family of 7 or 8. I know if I go out to eat, it's $200, $300 plus.
Right.
I do it, but in my head, I'm like, man, they don't know I'm straining. Like, I'm trying to show them, you know what I'm saying? You can do it. It's a better life without showing them I'm straining for it. So I think that was a
man, LDC1, that's powerful, bro. I talk about like, I talk about this often, that we gotta exposure.
Right.
Like, yo, everything that we've become is because of exposure. So the more we can expose, and I mean everything. So sometimes we just gotta taste something that we can't necessarily afford. We need to taste it. I remember the first time I was like, yo, I'm gonna bump up this damn coach ticket to first class. I need to understand what's going on up there. And this
right.
I was straining to do it, right? I was straining to do it. And then when I did it, I was like, wait a minute, I get on the plane first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I get to start working or doing whatever the hell I want to do while everybody else is still loading on the plane for a good half hour, 45 minutes. Then I get drinks if that's what I want. They take my jacket, all that good stuff. I get off the plane first. So I don't have to worry about missing a gate. So wait, everybody up here don't look as stressed. The people in the back trying to grab their luggage. Can I get in front of you? Because my gate, my flight, I got to catch here. You know, I was like, yo,
they'd be the happiest people in the world.
So I was like, I need to fly like this forever. But I needed to taste it. And after I tasted it, I was like, how do I recreate that? The part is, I couldn't do it right away, right? Like, I couldn't continually do that, but I tasted it. And once I tasted it, I understood that that was a new goal. And now it's like, yo, I'm not, unless I have to fly coach for some reason, because there's no connecting flight or something, I'm trying to fly straight direct and only first class. Next one is private jets, but we ain't there yet, but that's next.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Even if it's on a timeshare, I'll take the timeshare on a jet. I ain't got to own the jet. I'm not trying to stunt like that. I don't have to flex. Like,
for real, bro.
It's enough to get on the timeshare of a jet. All right.
Yeah, I just need a few pics. That's all. I just need. For real. That's that Bow Wow pic, man.
Man, that was
That was Bow Wow. That was the Bow Wow pic.
And he didn't have to do that, right? Like, we already just assume he's doing something, right?
Thanks. Thanks, man.
Exactly. Man, now that was a quote you posted. There's a quote you posted recently, man. It said, "It's not that you don't have the resources you need, is that you need to know how to structure deals with the people who have the resources." When did you figure that out for yourself?
Yeah. Damn, that's a good one. Not because it's mine, it's just a good one. It's just like that, because that really is it. I think I was always studying how people moved. I don't think that there was a time later on in my life, as I got, I guess in my like late 20s or whatever, that I was really like kind of focused on that. But I think early on, I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I think I was just studying people, and I was just studying people that seemed to have their stuff together, and studying people that seemed to be moving in spaces and doing things that interest me. And I just became like a heavy student. I think that was partially because my dad was really on like reading. And so he was like, you know, who are you studying? Like, who are you interested in? What are you trying to do? And he would be like, You should get a book on that, or you should read a magazine on that. And so I think understanding when I really saw the inside is when I got on to the Today Show. When I finally got onto the Today Show and hustled to get like this one-shot opportunity, I saw like, first off, I just saw like how much activity was going on set. Secondly, I saw like how much money was moving in terms of like what's going on set, who's coming on, what's going out, lights, camera, editing, all this stuff that's happening. People doing wardrobe, makeup, hairstylists, security, like the whole thing. And at that point, I realized, oh, it's actually about knowing how to access the resources and knowing how to access the rooms than it is more, in some cases, than knowing the actual stuff. Like knowing the stuff is important because once you get a chance to show who you are or what you're about, you want that to come through, that you've been a student, that you know what you're talking about, that you got some level of expertise or passion. But I know plenty of experts that don't know how to access a room. I know plenty of experts that don't get brand deals. I know plenty of people that have triple the following that I have, but don't get the brand sponsorships that I get. So I realized like there's something off balance about this. How am I able to access? And then I realized it's like, oh, I've been studying how these deals are made. Oh, I've been studying how to actually be profitable in my industry. A lot of people try to study how to get into the industry, but they don't study necessarily how to be profitable in that industry. And I think once I really started studying the deal making and the deal structure, it educated me really quick. And then you say like this, fake it till you make it. And I say like, act as if. So I just started acting as if I knew. And I just act as if I knew what the deal structure should be. I acted as if I remember when Russell Simmons was talking about what's his name that came to him? Birdman. Birdman came to him. And Birdman came to him and basically was talking about his label and was talking about Wayne and everybody else. And he was trying to structure a deal. And Russell was like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, there's no way you get to own 90% of this situation. And Birdman was like, I don't understand. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm the one with the beats. I'm the one with the production. I'm the one with the people. I'm the one with the staff and the team. Like, what are you talking about? And so Russell said the fact that he didn't know actually gave him a leg up. So I was always torn by like, how much do I need to know versus how much should I also kind of be ignorant? And then I was like, well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna know, and then I'm gonna act dumb. So I took both of them and kind of mixed it together. I was like, I'm gonna learn what I need to learn, but then I'm gonna act like I don't know, so they can try to fool me, but then they're gonna realize they can't. But by that time, I'm already in the door. So now we in the negotiation phase because we done got to that part. So now it's about, do you really want to kill the deal? Because we got all the way down to this part. And now you found out that, oh, damn, he knows a little bit about this industry. He's trying to really finagle himself in a way that can position himself better.
Here's my question for you. When you talk about vision and a person like myself, I know my vision, I know my purpose in life. But then knowing what I come through, my lane that I'm in, I don't think there's no lane. No one can come into the lane because it's a whole new lane. And this lane is just dealing with restructuring the way police deal with citizens and how citizens deal with police, and getting the effective help and assistance to citizens in a way that police can't give or don't give. And what I have, it could be implemented right now all over the country, anywhere in the world, that can immediately help people in a time of need, proactively and reactively, against any solution of crime or any problem, even dealing with police. And then there's a way that is so set up that every community in every zone area can get a specific police officer instead of having to deal with all these other different officers coming to your community or to your problem and you don't know who they are. So now that I know I have these expertise, I know my vision, I know my purpose in life, because there's no one in policing that's ever done what I've done ever in policing in and of itself. So now how, with that lane, when nobody's there, how can I bring that vision, a person like me, bring a vision into an atmosphere that is it's never existed. If that makes sense.
I mean, when you got a vision that when you have a vision of something that already like doesn't exist, the resistance to that vision is going to be super heavy.
Oh, it's already, trust me. You just hit it on the nail.
Because they're going to say it could have been, if that could be the case, if we could have done, it would have already been done. So I think when I hit situations like that, the one thing that I've seen, because we as a society, unfortunately for a lot of us, we've been addicted to acceptance, meaning we have to do something in order to try to get accepted by it. That could have been just, and even if in our own families, trying to get accepted from our brother or a cousin or our parents or whoever. So it's like a natural thing, but it gets really bad when it dictates how you actually move, and nobody gets to dictate your destiny. Only you do. So I think in those moments when I got a vision that's so big or so powerful or so unique and different that other people may not be able to understand or see, I go down to the smallest, I'm talking minuscule moment, one small step at a time. So I go into this framework of what's the next right step? Like what's the next, really in this case, what's the next smallest right step? So I would throw it back at you. What if you could take your vision and boil it down to what you could do tomorrow morning and actually achieve, what would that next smallest right next step be for you?
Wow. Well, I know for sure. It's just a matter. Then the next step will be. It's a matter of, like you said. I've been listening. It's getting to the right connection to the person or activist or someone in a community, someone that knows who has a heart and knows the struggle and the pain of the people, to actually unite with that person to get that to the right politician or
okay, perfect. Stop there, because that's step 2 and 3 and 4. So you said the next right step is find a community activist that's down for this idea, that's down for this cause, that understands the pain. So they're looking for solutions. You know they need to solve the problem. So now you have a viable customer that needs your solution because it can help them solve a problem. So the first step is, okay, now we got to try to connect to that person. Okay, but that's not the step. That's great that you have that, but that's still not the step. So what's the step for that? Is it you're going to write down a list of people? Is it I'm going to reach out to some people in my own community to try to see, yo, who do you know is really doing things? Like, what is the step to the step? Like that you can do. You can do those things tomorrow. You can make that reach out, and you could start small, and then somebody will lead you to somebody, which will lead you to somebody, and then you end up at Robert's house. And now you're talking to Robert. Now you're talking to Robert, right? And then you're saying to Robert, and he's saying to you, okay, how do I do this? And you go, well, we need to find a politician. Who do you know? Or how do we get that? And then you're on your next right step.
I got you.
So it really is a matter of taking the vision. And what we don't really do, which is why I put together this whole new system, man, and I'm trying to build it into an app, because we did it as a workbook just to really test it out and see how it was going for people. But it's basically called a Goal Buddy Planner. This Goal Buddy Planner is meant to have you kind of put down, what is your goal? What are your goals for the month? What are your goals for the week? What's your goals for the year? And then what are the small steps that's going to get you there? What are the obstacles that could get in the way? We never account for the obstacles that can get in the way of the stuff we want to get done. But if you know where the roadblocks are, if you know what the blind spots are before you hit them, you can adjust so you can get more things done faster. And then when you do it with a buddy, that's like going to the gym. I'd rather go to the gym any day with a friend than go by my damn self, because I know I'm gonna really put it in. I know they're gonna be looking at me. I know I'm gonna really put it in. So it's the same thing when we're trying to pursue our goals. So what I try to teach people is to reverse engineer the goal. So if you really see this vision, and I'll say, okay, let's say it's going to take you 9 months or a year. It could take you 3. But let's just say you put some time frame on it. Then you just got to reverse engineer backwards. And what you do is you start thinking about the very smallest step that you can take every day or every week towards it. You look up 4 weeks later, you actually got some traction.
Yeah.
But the idea gets so big that we don't take the time to write it down, that we get frustrated because we're like, yo, how come nobody's understanding what I'm talking about? Can't they see this? Yeah. And it's like, if you just break it down in small steps, you'll be easier on yourself, and you'll get moments of momentum, and that's going to give you a lot of wind behind your back.
My question.
Yeah.
Well, my question is, I looked at your TED talk recently. And it was a very good TED talk. How to master the ask.
Oh yeah, thanks, JB. Appreciate that.
What opportunities have opened up for you for just by asking somebody?
Oh, bruh. Woo! Yo, that's a great question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question before. Not like that. That's for damn sure. The opportunities that have opened up. Oh man. So okay. My first opportunity to get on radio opened up because I asked. I literally cold called a small station and was like, I got this show idea. Can I get on? And they put me through a little bit of a ringer, but it was cool. I got on. Then I remember, and it was small. It was almost meaningless. But then I remember calling the ABC station in Baltimore. And I was like, yo, if I could get on TV, because I didn't graduate college. I went to college because I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be in broadcasting. I knew I wanted to be in TV, media, radio. Like I knew that was my lane. But because I got shot at while I was attending the university in West Virginia, my parents was like, yeah, they just called us and said, you know, it's getting too risky out there. You need to get back. And I'm like, damn, how did I leave Baltimore to get shot at in West Virginia? Like, this is crazy. But nonetheless, that's how the cards got dealt. And so I left that college and never found my footing back into college after that. It just wasn't in the cards. So I had to fight for everything because I didn't have the sheet of paper. So I had to create. I had to get smart. So while I had a day job, I was calling other places to figure out how I could do this side hustle, how I could work for these other places or do stuff for free. I had the day job. I had the salary covered. So I was like, I just need to get these opportunities. So I think I just learned all they could say is no. And so many people allow the no to lock them up that they don't take the chance because they don't understand that it's a 50-50 situation. Like, and you can make it more 70-30, 80-20 if you remove what could be an obstacle. In other words, I went to Channel 2, ABC local station, was like, I want to be able to do what I'm doing on radio, but I'll do it for you for free. Just let me get one Thursday. Let me just do it every Thursday morning. I'll talk about technology to your viewers. And they were like, for free? And I was like, yeah, for free. Well, I immediately removed any obstacle. So I had the day job. So I was like, yo, they don't know that I need the experience. I needed the experience. They were getting free content from me. When you know why you're being used, let them use you. Too often, I think the ego gets in the way and we don't want to do things because you're like, yo, you should pay me for that. Or, yo, so-and-so is getting this, getting that. But it's like, why are you doing it? If you're doing it for the pay, then yeah, get your pay. I was doing it because I needed the experience, because I saw a goal for myself. How do I get to national television? How do I get to national media? And I was like, yo, if I can do it in local, then if I can break in, then I can get the experience. Then I can learn what it's like to be on a set. Then I can learn what it's like to be on live TV. Then I can learn what it's like when they go to a commercial break. That I can learn what it's like to have to talk in 30-second bits. So that to me was like, every time I asked, I just recognized more opportunities were happening, bro. So I think every single thing that's happened to me has been because I asked. Getting these Emmys happened because I asked, bro. You're making me really dig now, bro. Like, I remember because I didn't have a studio to shoot the show at. We couldn't afford it in New York. It's just too much money. And I'm telling you, this is different than the studios that we got now with like virtual and StreamYard and all these things. Like, all that wasn't going on then. It was like Facebook Live and Periscope. It wasn't, none of that was happening. And so I had to ask. I basically called around to some companies that had like these large lobbies. And I was like, if we use can you let us use your lobby to shoot our show in the evenings? It won't be during the workday, so it won't mess with your workflow, making it easy for them. But what we'll do is we'll include your product as a commercial in the show for a trade, basically a barter. You give me the space, let me use it. I'll bring in the cameras, bring in the crew, bring in the equipment. We'll be like ninjas. You won't even notice us like that. But every time we come in for the next 8 weeks to shoot our 8 episodes, we're going to mention your product in the show. And if we have a special guest that you want to meet, like Damon John, if he comes on the show or somebody like that, then I'll set it up that your people can get a chance to meet them. Yo, after like the third place that we went to, we got a yes. But 2 places told us no. So I can't, and then we end up with this. So I can't think of a time that asking did not create a mega opportunity for me. And I just think that people are hesitant. People think that you got to have it all together in order to make the ask. People don't need to see all of that. People just need to see your potential. That's what people really want to see, like your potential. So asking has become the most significant way for anybody, in my opinion, to level up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So how did you get into was you always a technology person for tech? So is something you always been into as a kid, or something you got into that later when you found out it was because back in the day, I was a toy person. I'm Ninja Turtles, right? I wish I would have known tech was gonna be what it was today. I would have been more technical. So that's something you was always into, or did you get into it when you seen it was a rising from it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it was always in me to mess around with it, but I really didn't like it to the degree that like engineers and programmers, it was this weird thing that happened to me. So let me answer your question first. I'll tell you why I got a little weird. First and foremost, I was just like you. I think I was just into toys and kind of like, I really liked television, and I was like, yo, how does that work? Right. So that interested me. And then I was like, radio seems cool. How does that work? But I didn't want to fix any of it. I didn't want to make it. I wanted to be the voices that was on the air or be the person that was being seen on screen. But I wanted to understand how it worked. So that kind of balance of wanting to be talent as well as understanding how the sausage is being made was kind of like just enough for me to learn. And then I started just like picking up little gadgets. For some reason, I always liked messing around with damn gadgets. I don't know why, man. I just did. And then it became this thing. Like people would just look to me. I was like in sales, and I remember having this little audio recorder. And like I was like the only salesperson that had one of them. And they were like, yo, why do you have that? I was like, because I don't have to miss Mr. Larry's drop off. He gonna be here tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. He gonna expect these cell phones. I was selling cell phones and stuff. Right. And so they were like, you don't write it down. I was like, nah, I just got it on this little thing I carry with me. It was crazy. So I was just up in the Radio Shack like that, I guess, man. I don't know. But at a certain point, what did change was I noticed that nobody was talking about technology in the thing I wanted to be on. Okay. And I think that's when the switch. And so the switch for everybody listening or watching is, it's not necessarily about learning it's not necessarily about, like I talk to kids all the time and they're just like, Mr. Armstrong, I don't really want to get into technology. I really want to pursue, this football thing, or I really want to pursue this music thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to dream kill. I'm not going to tell you not to do that. So do that. But here's what I want you to understand is like, how does technology play a role in it? Can you just also learn that for me? Yeah. And then it becomes like, oh, so I don't need to go and learn engineering for engineering's sake. I can go over here and actually learn as it relates to the sport of football, or as it relates to fashion, or as it relates to making music. And I'm like, yeah, now it's relevant. So I think that for me, I just started seeing that, oh, technology is becoming relevant in people's lives, and there's nobody on the air really talking about it. Oh, this is a chance for me to make this run. And that's what I did. And then I think being Black, it was also just completely helpful because it just wasn't enough of us. Really, I mean, there was enough Black techies, but they weren't on air. They weren't on air. So that kind of made, and that's where, but what's funny is, to a certain degree, I think the real techies was just like, yo, I think he kind of pseudo tech. I don't think he really fully tech. But then everybody at home that was watching me on TV was like, I love this tech guy because he explains it to me in a way I can understand. So it was weird because it was like I was getting a lot of acceptance and understanding from non-techies, but not as much love from the actual techies themselves. But I don't know if it was because I was breaking it down in a way that they weren't, or that I was breaking it down and I was watering it down. And, it didn't matter to me. I was doing what I thought was helpful.
It was that skin tone, man. That skin tone. I'm telling you, I already know what it is. That skin tone. I'm telling
No, but I was getting that. I was getting some of that from my own people.
That's what I'm saying. That's like the dumb part for me, bro. Like we the crabs in the buckets, man. Like we always gonna. It's always us trying to pull us back in the bucket, man. I don't get that at all.
Yeah,
I don't get that part at all.
But that's a good question. So I think, you got to keep your eyes open for the opportunities. You got to understand what you're passionate about. And then that's how you can start to really maneuver yourself and kind of find yourself into these spaces where other people aren't really paying attention to.
Yeah, find your niche.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sometimes you got to create it. I didn't even know it was a niche. I just knew people weren't on air doing it. Like, y'all know somebody's not doing something you want to do. And so it's like, okay, how can you do it that's really relevant to you? That's going to be a niche because it's relevant to you. Nobody else can be you, so it's going to be unique anyway.
Yep, you right. Man, you speaking facts, bro.
Gotcha. We got a comment from the King Start of the Day. Let's see. We got a comment. It says, it's always good to be in a circle or common denominator or whatever it is that you are in to coincide in the field you want to be in.
That's powerful. And when we in these rooms, it's no time for second doubt. It's no time for like second guessing, no time for self-doubt. Like when you're in the room, you already got in the room. Like I'll see people get into a room and then they shrink. And I'm like, yo, why y'all shrinking? Like, this is the time to express yourself. Like, you already in the room. Like, you're supposed to be here. I don't care if you're the youngest one. I don't care if you're the blackest one. I don't care. Like, if you in the room, you're supposed to be in the room. So max it out, take advantage of it. I completely agree with it's good to be in the circle of that common denominator, whatever it is that you're in.
Let me ask you this. When you in that room, is there some do's and don'ts that you should do or you shouldn't do? Or what you should say when you shouldn't say? Is there a lingo? Is there like a protocol? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think before there would be an argument that could be made that, we know how to play the game. And I think that's done now. I think that, there's no need for you to do that. You need to fully be you. And if somebody else can't deal with it, that's actually their issue. Yeah. And I know how far, Mario? That's up to the individual. I can't tell. But what I can tell you is just read the spaces. Like what I do know is that I do know that we know how to read a room. I do know that. And I think that's just because of how we've had to move. That I think, at least for me, I know that I can read a room. And I know that if I'm in the room, I'm not being quiet to be quiet. I'm not going to talk just to talk. I'm going to have something to say or some value to add or a question that hopefully generates some action. But I'm not just going to be sitting in the background. So I think that number one, be you, because at least if somebody's trying to play you for being you, at least you understand what that is. Like I'd like to know why I'm being played. And if I'm not being me, I can't tell if I'm being played because now I done acted fake or I did something that's not true to me. So now I don't know if they're playing me because of that or because of something else. And now I'm all confused. I'd rather just be authentically me and then understand exactly where it is and exactly where somebody else stands, because then I know how to maneuver. I know how to work with that. And so I think, number one, I don't think you should be quiet in a room, but I think you should speak up when you have something of value to say.
Cool. Have your lane became more difficult being that it's a more open world? Like what I'm saying, you got the internet and got more powerful, you got more people in your lane. Have you felt the pressure? Like you're at your level, right? You know what to get there, but are you feeling pressure? Like it seems like it's so easy for guys to just come up now. They see you, they'll look at you and be like, oh, let me copy this, and I'm finna come up. Do you feel that pressure? Like you say, I work hard, man. I had to do this. I went through evictions. Everything to get to, and it seems like it's kind of like the boxing world. People mad at forgot his name because I don't really watch him. The white box, what's that celebrity boxer? I forgot his name. Jake Paul, like the real boxer, man.
Yeah, Jake Paul.
Yeah. Get there, and you skipping up the ropes because you're a celebrity. So do you feel that pressure being in the lane? How hard it took you to get to the lane? But then you got all these tech people just doing it. you know.
Well, yeah, you know what, man? I didn't feel that type of pressure. I felt different pressure. I understand how people can feel that too, though. But I started noticing, just like you said, like paying attention to the market. I started noticing internet was becoming way more available. People were asking their kids more and more questions. Their kids were growing up on the internet, so now they can answer their parents' problems. So my job of being kind of like this filter that was able to educate all these masses of people was, I was like, yo, they got Google now. Like things are going to change real quick.
Right.
And they got Google in their house. Like they got their sons, daughters, nieces, nephews. Like, and so I was like, all right. And at that time, I was also ready to kind of pivot. I was ready to do more in entrepreneurship. I was ready to do, because I knew that I was more than tech, but I knew that was my way in. So what was actually happening to me is I was getting pigeonholed. What was actually happening was the networks and the media and all these other people that knew me only knew me for tech, or only wanted to see me doing tech. So anytime I had something else to offer or to give up, they didn't even want to hear it. They had already boxed me in so tight. They were like, yo, just stay in that box. You killing it in that lane. Like, why would, like, what do you, and I understand how that happens to people. So I think for me, the pressure was, how do I leave something that's been so good to me? And can I actually make that step out on faith to change my whole trajectory? So yeah, I talk about tech, but nowhere near, like now tech is like 10% of what I talk about. Nowhere near where it was 100% of what I talked about before. So that was a rough moment to be like, I'm going to actually walk away from what has been feeding me really, really well, because I think I see the writing on the wall, and I think I'm kind of done with this. And if I don't switch now, I think I'll be typecast forever.
Man, you got some, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. You got like this, you got a big belief system. It seems like you don't, and I get why you got that belief system, because you do have to take the chance. You got to step off the ledge. And a lot of people are scared to step off that ledge, and
because our brain is wired to protect us. See, that the hack is this, right? You're so right. But like, a lot of people will operate based off of fear,
right?
Operate like based off of avoiding fear,
right?
As opposed to like actually leaning into the possibility of it working out.
Whew. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's so it's like the same people that like, and I get this line too, where people be like, yo, I love it when the haters come after me because it gives me like that fuel. I get that. And I've had those moments in my life too. But you know what I also like? I also like proving my supporters right. So it's like, which energy do I want to do? Do I want to do the negative energy of like, yo, I can't wait for these haters to see me get on. Like, okay, I get that can fuel you in the instant, but do I really want to carry that fuel for like 3 years trying to prove these haters wrong? Or do I really want to prove the people that do believe in me right? And so I kind of try to change and reframe the perspective. And it's because I found out through talking to a neuroscientist, and he broke it down. He was like, well, the brain doesn't know the difference. When it's afraid, it's afraid. So somebody walking up on a stage in front of 200 or 2,000 people could literally be scared to death. Right. And it's going to feel like they're being mugged at gunpoint. Right. Now, they're not being mugged at gunpoint. They're not going to die on that stage. Nobody's going to shoot them. They're on the stage. But it feels the same in their brain. And I was like, why is that? And he said, because the brain has been conditioned to protect us from the things that we're afraid of. But once you understand the difference between real fear and fake fear, then you can hack it. Because now you know what it is you're feeling. So now I know when my underarms get sweaty, or when my mouth gets dry, or I'm in front of somebody and I'm like, yo, I need to ask, this person or that person. Like sometimes I'll find myself in these back rooms, or I'll be behind stages that I'm speaking at, or I'll be in these green rooms. And I've seen a lot of different people, man. You name them, I've seen so many people that I've been exposed to. And there'll be moments where I'll start to feel that sweat, even though I've had no problem walking up to people, asking them questions or introducing myself. Doesn't mean that I don't go through the process of feeling it. I'm not a damn robot. I ain't Chat GPT out here. So like, I'm like, yo, I'm glad somebody caught that. I'm like, yo, I was like, damn, that fell flat.
Now you good.
But I'm like, yo, I know that when I feel my palms getting sweaty or my underarms getting sweaty, I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. This is okay. I'm about, there's a breakthrough that's about to happen right now. Like whatever you're thinking, keep going. Like I bumped into Byron Allen recently, and I got TV shows. I got stuff I'm trying to, I've been trying to get in front of Byron Allen for a minute because people don't know on the low, this dude been killing it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it wasn't until he got on the Breakfast Club, everybody was like, what?
True.
Before the Breakfast Club, I already knew he'd been killing it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yo, I'm getting sweaty palms. I'm trying to get my phone, my photo album in my phone right, because whenever I roll up on somebody, I got stuff in my phone, in my photo albums, labeled, ready. So I got video, I got testimonials, I got me on TV, I got me in the podcast, I got me with celebrities, I got like whatever I need to show people while I'm talking to them. I'm like, show you, my phone is right beside my face. So they can be looking at my phone and looking at me and be like, okay, this dude seemed to be the real deal. And so I was getting all nervous and I was like, okay, yep, you feeling that energy. But at that time, most people shut down. So I think if you could understand that that's what your body's just going through because it's just meant to protect you, but that you're not in a life or death situation, that you actually need to embrace that feeling because that means you're about to hit a breakthrough.
Yeah, taking it back a little bit about getting into the room. When did you come up with the idea that you're going to ask people for 11 minutes of their time instead of asking for just a minute or an hour or 30 minutes?
Because man, people ask for too much damn time from people. And it's like, okay, so really how I found out that this 11 minutes could work, really a Jedi mind trick. It was partially like, I'm going to ask for something different, but I could have asked for 15 and that would have still been different. But what I found was when so many people would hit me up and they would be like, yo, can I get a few minutes of your time? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. Cause I'm just like that kind of approachable, accessible kind of guy. Like I don't play like that. So I'm like, yeah. But then when you tell me you're going to have me for 5 minutes, but then you go for like 20, I'm like, damn, this ain't really what you told me it would be. Like I can do it, but like, I got to actually get ready to go before I'm like late for my shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, no disrespect, but so I recognize that people, don't really pay attention. Many people don't pay attention to time. And so they ask for what they think they should ask for. They ask for what they think is common. And what I'm saying is you want to do stuff that's uncommon if you want to get uncommon outcomes.
Facts.
So I ask for things that are uncommon. I'm asking you for 11 minutes. Why? Because 11 is a unique number. I'm not asking you for 15 because the last time somebody asked you for 15, you found yourself with them for 30. So people have abused 15. They've abused 30. They abused an hour. I don't need all of that. Yeah. Plus, I also know I don't need to shoot my whole shot in one moment with you. Let me just get 11 minutes. Let's just date for a second. Let's even just find out if we even should be dating. So let me just get 11 minutes with you. And then if that 11 minutes goes good, then we can go further on. Yeah. So I think asking for the 11 minutes really puts people off guard because they like, damn, if he's really serious about 11 minutes, I can give him 11 minutes. So number one, they're not used to seeing it. Number two, it's a short amount of time that I'm asking them for, but it's enough time just to get enough info. And number three, when I actually hold to it, they're like, damn, they believe me now. I just earned trust because I actually held to it. And in most cases, when I say thank you, you know, our 11 minutes is just about up. I appreciate it. Oh, I got a few more minutes. You know, we can go to such and such. Most of the time that happens, you actually get extended more time.
All right, I got this question. You jump in. Everybody jumping in. We got a lot of, you see, we got a million questions. We're trying to get them in. My question is about your beautiful queen. My question about your queen, who you say been in the business for you. How did you, a lot of times, what my struggle with, you been in a relationship, right? When you're going through a hard time, a lot of people give up on you. They can't go through it with you. They like, I can't do it. So how did you, what was it that kept y'all so persistent, so strong? And do you think you'll be where you are without her? And if
Hell
not,
no.
What is her role? Because a lot of people need to hear does she do for you to make you at where you at? Like, the people need to hear what these queens doing, because a lot of people think it's just solo game out here. And there's a lot of people in the background.
Nah, fam. Like, yo, I would nowhere be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for her.
Right.
Nowhere. Like, it's just, and it's not like, oh, why? Because she was maintaining the house. She was doing that and running the business. Truth be told, she's the CEO, fam. I don't have the CEO title. She does.
Woo.
So then there's
Yeah.
also got to be some talk about brothers being having humility. Do
Huh.
you have enough humility to make your partner the CEO, or do you got to have the ego to go with it?
Yeah.
I had to learn that game. Look, I wasn't all like self-righteous. This ain't like Mario been on that for me. Nah, man, Mario was egotistical. Mario was selfish. Mario had to learn, like, yo, you're not getting somewhere because you're being selfish. And she was showing that to me. And then I had to come to a realization, like, is she right, or am I going to continue defending myself until I'm blue in the face?
Right.
And at a certain point, I had to be like, yo, it's the common denominator is me. It's like the dude that keeps getting fired from every job, but every job is the problem.
Right.
It's like, yo, is it really every woman you with is the problem? Like,
Yeah,
are you doing any work, bro? Are you doing any work?
Yeah.
So at a certain point, I had to like be real with me and be like, no, I got to do this work. So she became CEO, rightfully so. And I think the difference was making sure two things. When you got a dream and a vision, I think people underestimate treating their family like stockholders.
Ooh. Yeah.
So I treat my family like stockholders. What does that look like? That looks like this. I have a dream. I got a vision. I would like to get you to leave your day job. She wasn't trying to leave her day job. She was actually making more in her salary than I was. So this was an uphill battle when I got laid off, to be like, hey, this is my runway. I got laid off. I can pursue the side hustle thing. You come and join me. You can make this thing really work. I can do the marketing and da. You can run the economics and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. We got a kid. We got all this. No.
Yeah.
I sat her down and I did a presentation. I said, 2:00 Saturday, meet me in the kitchen. 2:00 Saturday, meet me in the kitchen. I knew how to use PowerPoint. I put the shit together. I put a PowerPoint slide deck together, and I showed her what the idea was, who I felt the competition was, what I felt the opportunity could be, what the business kind of could look like if we could work on this, and how she could play a role. So I basically did what they call in marketing terms a SWOT analysis. I looked at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats, and basically put together. And to even make it more simple, it's just who, what, when, where, why, how.
Yep.
And if you just do one slide for each one of those questions, your family be like, oh, so you're not doing this tomorrow? No, we're going to do this in like 6 months. I'm going to pad my bank account. We're going to do some savings. We're going to not eat out. We're going to beef it up so that we can get ready for this. Oh, now I understand why we got to take this sacrifice. Oh, now I understand why I can't ask dad for that extra cereal. Like, it all starts to make sense because the family has been brought in to see the vision. Now, the challenge is don't just dictate it to them. Make it a conversation. Show it to them, present it, but then, hey, what are y'all thoughts? What questions do you all have? Oh, and then the last thing I would say is show them examples, if you can, of other people that have also made it, because too often we got to see that, oh, you mean you're going to be like Charlemagne? Oh, you mean you're going to be like such and such? Like, that can somewhat help people to kind of get a frame around what you are trying to present to them if they can't get the idea based off of how you're presenting it to them without that.
Wow.
That's
so now when my kid was like, hey, dad, I want to get a dog. I was like, okay, that sounds great. It's your 10th birthday. I understand you want to do that. I'm going to need to see a presentation. And that dude at 10, was literally putting together, and he answered all the questions. Who is it? It's a dog.
Yeah.
Who's going to take care of it? Him, with the parents' help. What will I do? I will walk it. I will feed it. You know, it was like, you know, why do I want a dog? Because I think it would be fun. Like, I remember, like, yo, he did the presentation. I was like, okay,
fam, that's
you
the TikTok
communicate.
reel, fam. That's a money avenue for you. You need to do a TikTok reel with presentations, man. That'll go live. Like, I'm gonna do one, bro. I'm like, yeah, you want me to cut the yard? I need a presentation where I need the yard cut. I need to know what's the benefit of me going out there to paying the lawn man. Why I need to go out there.
I'm saying, if you show that to your queen and you sit her down and you treat her like 2:00 Saturday, you're going to meet me in the dining room, or take it out the house. Sometimes you got to get out of the environment of where everything is so used to everything else. Right. And like, so go get a hotel room for the day and do it in the hotel room or ask a friend for a spot, like anywhere but where the normal chaos or the normal reactions can happen. Take it out, take it off turf, because then you really get them more exposed and more open. And so I think if you do that with the person you really care about, and if they can't see that, that doesn't mean that they don't support you. It just means they might be scared as hell. And you got to really find out, are they afraid? Because that's different than, do they believe I can do it?
Right.
If they don't believe I can do it, then we got to have a deeper discussion about what we even doing. like, what's this about?
You're right, because that's what a lot of people stuck in, is they stuck in people who don't support. A lot of people, they don't support each other. So a lot of people are stuck in these situations where they don't even support it. Like, dreams have to be supported. That's just,
got to.
For me, it got to be supported.
And that's why I'm like, there's two types of dream killers. You got the dream killers that actually don't want to see you be successful.
Right.
And you know what that feeling is like. You know how to avoid them. You know how to feel that energy. But then you got your parents or other friends that are scared for you because they don't see what you see and they didn't do what you do. So now it's fear. But it shows up as like dream killing, because it shows up like, why don't you do the safe thing? It shows up like, why don't you just wait for that? You don't really have the education for that. Like, it shows up like that. But what that doesn't mean like they really don't want to see you be successful. It just means they don't understand it. So, but they show, but then they open up their mouth and then we listen to it. And then we like, damn, maybe I can't, you know? So I think presenting the facts of the situation makes it harder for people to bring their opinions into your dreams.
Fact. And I see you got a background in music. I mean, I heard you talking about music. I think you're a lover of music. I see the hoodie. I like that hoodie you got on, for real.
Yeah. Shout out.
It's a lot. Being that you're doing, you done made it and stuff with these artists. Like they just said, I don't know if nobody read. They said they just got walk on RICO charges. What is your opinion on all these artists? Like, you see all the murders happening, and they saying it don't even make sense to even do a record deal. Like, all this stuff that's happening, the RICO charges. Why? I mean, what's your opinion on that and what's going on, you know, with today and all that, man? It seemed crazy to me to have that, even with someone that had that much money. It's like, I don't get with Frank Lucas. I said, man, how you make $1 million? They say, man, pull $1 million a day. How you don't pull out the game the next day? How you don't just work 1 week and say, you know what, I'm done. I done made $7 million Monday through Sunday. Let me go and go to Hawaii and shit. And cops not on me. What? It's crazy what's happening right now, man. I don't. It's like the hip hop world is just messed up. I don't know. It's crazy.
I mean, look, man. And I'm not holier than thou, right? Like I've made dumb decisions. I had a 9 in my hand a couple of times. I've been in like situations that it's just like, this doesn't seem right. Oh, okay. Better get out of this. And fortunately, at those like last moments, I made the right decision to kind of like get out of whatever those situations that I got myself into.
Right.
So I think that, when you're young, man, you think it's just going to keep coming, and you think it's just going to keep coming. You think the money's never going to stop. You think it's going to keep coming. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of young brothers that are hurt because, they haven't been treated right. They don't have the right upbringing. They haven't had the father figures in the households, for some of them, not all of them. And so I just think like identity crisis is just, it's crazy. Plus, you got social media that turns everything into like astronomical comparison.
Ooh, Lord. Yes,
it's astronomical to compare now. I mean, to the point where you got Ja, Memphis, you got
Ja Morant, yeah.
Yes, bro.
It's
that story there.
You could go to the epitome of like, yo, what is he even doing? But it's like, okay, but do y'all know that everybody can carry in Tennessee?
Yeah,
like,
that's what. Oh my God.
Like, you can carry in Tennessee. Like, why are y'all tripping? It's not like he in Maryland doing this. Like,
they on the WNBA now. They on WNBA talking about they getting on there for wearing their nails and the hair in their head. I'm like, come on, y'all going back to the Iverson days.
I was going to say Allen Iverson already took care of this.
That's
thought.
What I'm saying. Now the ladies can't wear nails and stuff. They making their shots. What is the problem? Like,
we talking about IG Live. We talking about IG Live. We talking about
I'm telling you,
IG Live. Did I shoot somebody? We talking about IG Live. Like,
man,
now I'm not saying I'm not condoning it, right? Like I'm saying that's a stupid move for him to do it on a live. Why is he doing that? He's looking for some other acceptance. He's looking for some other validation. As a young kid, I get that. But it's like, yo, this is where it's the fight that we have is against this validation, it's against this identity, and it's against support systems. Because if you don't have it from your home, you're gonna get it from the street. At least that's what you think you're gonna. At least that's what you think you get.
Say, yeah.
So yeah, man, it's a tough battle. I just really wish
Yeah.
that there's any young people that listen to this, that if you got that even inkling of a feeling like I did, like, nah, this isn't right. I should be doing something. And you trying to figure out how to get out, you gotta go. You gotta talk to that older brother, that uncle in your neighborhood, that cousin that seemed to be on the right path. Like, you gotta go talk to somebody and say what you're struggling with. Because you haven't figured out how to make the move yet, and you need some advice or somebody with other exposure to be able to see inside your world to give you some ideas on how you might be able to step out of that.
Facts. Hey, gang, I just want to let y'all know I'm doing the podcast. My battery, I'm on an iPhone. My junk just said low power. We know what that means. So it might die on me in case I blank out. But man, I'm doing the show. Y'all take over in case I blank out. But man, I enjoyed you. I'm definitely gonna be reading your content, following more of your content, and I hope God keep blessing you and your family, your wife and your family, man. Y'all just go out on limits with man. Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
Like I said, with our culture, I know with blacks, we have a problem sharing and helping each other. We crabs in the bucket. Yeah, you see every culture help each other. Every culture help each other, but we the crabs in the bucket. Like I said, I like what you're doing. You have very good points, and you right about what you're saying, man. You gotta have no fear. It's like going to the casino knowing I got $100, but I'm scared to lose my 100. Why I'm at the casino? Take the money, I ain't scared to lose. That's stupid. I ain't finna go, and I'm shaking the whole time. Like, oh, Jesus, Jesus, please let me hit. This is my last 100. That's dumb for me to be. Let me take something I can lose. Somebody ain't got fear of. So, man, I appreciate everything you said. You done gave me a lot of input, in my own life. So, man,
hey man, I appreciate that too, bro. And I appreciate that you all are doing this podcast in this way, and that you all are being vulnerable, because that too is something that we don't do. And it can be frowned upon to be vulnerable, to show what's quote unquote seems weak. Like, there's a moment where you gotta stand up for your family. I get that. But you're a human being. And I think like this whole, the problem with part of the problem, I'm not gonna say the problem, but part of the problem with the crabs in the bucket mentality is because we have been conditioned not to have stuff.
Ooh, yes.
And because of the structural racism, because of how it's all been done, when we get something, we like, yo, hold on to that.
Right.
But what we have to understand now is that game has really changed due to the internet, due to the access, due to the fact that we can buy from each other. We don't have to rely on somebody else to buy from us.
Right.
We don't have to rely on somebody else to take our products. So now that we know that, and now that we can be smarter about that, now it's like, no. Now we have to start getting international with our thinking. And I think that's where we get like limited. Even in our own team, I'm like, y'all, we got to start thinking about how we get this podcast on in India. Like, I want to get a book out, and then I want that book done in like 6 different languages.
Ooh.
So it's like, we got to get exposure, and we got to get exposure. And so I think like when we do that, we start to understand that the pie isn't small at all. The pie is big as hell.
Right.
And when we start, like I asked Shaq one time, man, and no disrespect, but I asked him, I was like, hey, how come y'all don't get together with like other players and like y'all pool y'all money together and like invest in, like, this is 10 years ago, invest in like entrepreneurs and other people with great ideas that look like us. And he said an answer to me that back then, I'm sure it's different than how he would answer it now. But back then he was like, well, my money guy doesn't necessarily talk to my friend's money guy. And I was like, yo, I don't understand that concept. Like, you the one with the money.
Right.
And I'm trying to tell you that y'all could pull together some money to make some really big change, as opposed to you doing something here and him doing something over there. And you telling me your money guy don't mess with that money guy, so therefore y'all don't pull together. Like, I just checked out at that point. Checked out, because I was like, oh man.
No, that's real Hollywood, bro. Because even Stallone said, I mean, everybody know Creed 3. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, say he hit 100. He made his number. But they saying Stallone didn't work with. It was a money thing because he didn't want to work with the director or something with this movie. He's like, I don't want to do it with him. So you right about this. Like, it seemed like money gets so big. Now your money talk for you. Money talk. Now your money talk for you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, we ain't finna go over here. We ain't finna go over here. And it's all the people that's like, say, you're not even controlling your own money.
Right.
But
And I'm sure that's different now. I'm sure because he's been invested in a ton of businesses.
Oh,
He's done a
yeah.
lot of stuff, and he gives back like crazy. But
Right.
I may have just caught him at
Yeah.
a moment, and he was being real and he was being honest. But now I understood why it was happening, and I understand like this whole crabs in the barrel mentality. It's even happening with people that got a lot of money.
Yes.
It's like, yo, so we got a lot of conditioning that we have to break down. And the way we break it down is by actually lifting each other up, by giving me a shot to come on your podcast. By now me being like, damn, is there a way that I could promote this podcast? Is there something I can do for them?
Right.
You know, so it's like, it's got to be reciprocated.
That's it, man. We appreciate you coming on, man. And I watch you live with Ash Cash. I watched the webinar, and man, you say, man, just, you know, you gotta have the strength, man, to just ask the question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The courage to ask the question. I reached out, man, and we appreciate you coming on.
Bruh,
Now I'm gonna ask you another one.
asking is the
Go ahead.
fastest, lowest cost way of acquiring info and creating new opportunity. It just is. You just got to keep asking.
I like this guy, man. I like him. I like him, man. I like him, man.
It's common sense, but it's not common practice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
common sense, but it's not common practice. And it's just like, when you ask, if somebody says no, and you go and ask somebody else, and they say no, and they're saying no for the same, there's only two reasons why you should be getting a no. If it's the same reason over and over, that you're getting the same reason, then there's something wrong with your ask. If it's the same reason. If it's a different reason, one time it's like, no, because it's the wrong time. One time it could be like, no, because it costs too much. Or I thought it had these features. If it's different answers, then that means you just haven't found the yes yet. You got to keep going. You don't change your pitch. You don't change your ask. You got to keep trying to find the right audience. Because a lot of times we are pitching the wrong people. We're not even asking. We're asking for people to give us a yes, and they don't even have the power to do it. So we got to be smart about who we're pitching or who we're going after. And then when we get that no, we got to understand, am I hearing that no, the same no over and over? Then I might need to change up, switch up what I'm doing. If I'm hearing a different no, Mario said, stay on that path. Don't change up what I'm doing. I'm just got to hit the right person. It's going to happen. So I don't know how many other people you asked
Now,
and they told you no. How many other people have you asked and they told you no?
Well, I asked a few guys for a white pair of glasses. So let me ask you, can I have them white glasses? I got two no's the other day. Maybe you say yes, because you just said.
Yeah, you can have them if you go to Zenny.com, you can pick up a pair. If these didn't have prescription in them, I give them to you, but they got prescription in them. But Tony, for real though, how often do you ask people to come on? Does everybody say yes?
No.
No, man. Majority don't respond.
Yeah.
But man,
But you
when
kept
we
but
do
you
get
keep
a yes,
asking, right?
it's good.
But you kept asking, right? And here we are.
Don't get discouraged.
Nope.
So now I got a question for you.
Okay.
What was the first band that you secured?
The first brand deal?
Yeah, the first paid brand deal that you secured.
Oh man. Yeah, and really, oh man, first paid brand deal, man, that's probably that might have been Microsoft, that might have been that might have been Staples at the time. But the best one that we got, that really changed the game, because those were like all smaller ones. Those were like 5 and 10K. But when I got that 186,000 from FedEx office, that's when I was like, okay, this a whole other this a whole other situation. There's a lot that I can do. And so that was our first season of our show. And we needed to get about eight episodes done, and we put up some of our own money. But then we were able to get 168, not 186, 168,000 from FedEx office. And I think that was the biggest deal for us, because when we did that, I recognized like, oh man, if you know how to package and you know how to present, then it's just a matter of making sure that you think you can solve a problem that they have. and show your solution in a way that can help them solve a problem, there's money. And that's you know, that's like nothing to them, but that was like everything to us.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
We are, we're part of the CTR Media Podcast Network, and we have multiple podcasters. When is a good time to reach out to these branding companies, or what are they looking for to actually do a partnership with them?
Yeah, they're looking for who's your audience is like the most important thing. It's not necessarily the most important, but it's like right there, like number 2 and number 3. Like, who are you reaching, and who's gravitating to what you're doing? Like, that's really, really important to understand who that person is. Like, what do they buy? What do they eat? Where do they shop? What kind of music they listen to? What do they get in the grocery store? Are they shopping in Whole Foods, or are they shopping like in Giant? Do they have it like that where they're getting like groceries delivered and using like Instacart and Uber Eats and Peapod, or are they having to go out and get like, so understanding what we call the psychographics, which is like the consumer behavior, the things that they're into, and then understanding the demographics, which is like the age, the income, zip code, education levels, things of that nature. The brands really want to know more of the psychographics than the demographics. The demographics are important probably just for age, but then after that, it's more like it's all about like the buying habits and what your psychographics show for your audience. So brands need really 3 things. They need to understand who your audience is. They need to understand the alignment that you see with them. So if you got a podcast, like what's your podcast? What's your other podcast about?
T Swin, live with T Swin. It's mostly like about my music, expediting in the transportation world, and just like my life, just my daily life.
But it's also about the did I hear the transportation world?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so then I say to you, what are some of the products and services that people in the transportation world need? What comes to mind? Like, what product or what service? What are things that people in the transportation world need?
They need equipment to secure the freight. They need PPE, personal protective equipment, GPS systems, electronic log systems.
Perfect. All of these are the brands that are aligned. All of those, perfect. Those are your target companies. Those products, those services are the brands that you would be going to because you got the listener that's paying attention to that. JB, what's your podcast about?
I don't have this is the only podcast that I'm on. I'm new to the game.
Oh, okay. But that's the question. The question is, no matter if you're doing an event, you know, like if you decide, Hoverman, if you decide that you're going to do an event about violence or security or something where you're trying to bring the community together, like why wouldn't you get brands to support that? So like these got to be brands that are down with your mission, but there definitely are brands that are down with that mission. It's just a matter of, are you talking to them? Are you telling them who's going to show? Are you giving them a sense as to who that audience is? So when you can tell a brand, I have an audience, like for me, when I say I have an audience of entrepreneurs, and some of these are side hustlers, some of these got like full-time jobs and they're working on a side gig. Some of them are solopreneurs, meaning they're an entrepreneur of one, and then others have like maybe 3 to 5 employees. Like that's who I'm talking to. And they're trying to build their brand. They're trying to put out digital products. They may be also coaches. They may be podcasters, YouTubers, social media influencers. They may be authors, and they may have their own masterminds and they may do events. Like that's who I'm talking to. And so then I can tell them, look, 80% of my audience travels and they travel more than 5 times a year. So that tells me I can go after brands that want travelers. Even though my content might be motivational and inspirational, I'm not talking about how to get a plane ticket for free. I'm talking to the audience that wants to get the information that I want to give, but I did a survey on my audience and I asked them these questions. And that gave me information to understand what's my listeners' behavior like. Oh, I got people that fly a lot. Well, that indicates that they travel, that they got disposable income, that they need rewards points, that they need luggage, that they need hotels, that they need Ubers and Lyfts, that they need rental cars. So it tells me all the companies that I could be approaching to get for sponsorship. So it's that kind of structure that we, in my programs, we really teach people how to uncover that, because a lot of times they're so close to it, they don't even know how easy it is. And then it's once you identify once you know who your audience is, and then you identified who makes the most sense, like who is aligned with that audience, then it's like then the third thing is, how are you packaging it to present it to them? Because then everybody's like, yo, who do I contact? And I'm like, yeah, okay, there's so many different people at a brand that you could contact. So it's not about who do you contact. It's about when you get the contact, what are you going to actually send to them? What are you going to actually tell them? Especially if you're just a startup, or especially if your podcast is new, or you don't have a lot of numbers. How are you going to prove some value, even though you may not have a large following? Because it's not that you don't. I'm about to post up a reel tomorrow morning that shows that brands are actually spending more money now. 77% of brands are actually spending more on micro influencers than macro influencers.